I guess this really applies to me today, doesn't it? So the daily word for today is free. Closer? Okay, I'm getting some prompts here. Living from my divine nature frees me. Sometimes I feel limited when I don't think I have enough time, money, space, education, or experience. These thoughts can occupy so much space in my mind that I begin to think that limitation is the truth of life. The greater truth is that I am free. I'm sorry. And unlimited in spirit. Alive in God, I am free to express all the love, wisdom, and strength of the divine as only I can. What joy and liberation it is to know that nothing can separate me from my true spiritual nature. If I believe any circumstance in my life or any of my past actions obstruct or delay my spiritual progress, I now release that belief. Embracing and loving from the divine presence, the Christ within me, I claim from all limitation. In him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. Thank you.
Thank you, Danelle. Did you hear her apologize for feeling? There is no need for apologies. It's a gift. It shows that you're willing to be here authentically with us. And to be our authentic selves in the world is the greatest gift we can offer it. So thank you, Danelle. That was beautiful. At Worldwide Unity, we have a vision statement, and we at Unity of Calgary have taken it on as our own. And if this resonates with you, please affirm out loud with me the vision of Unity Worldwide. We envision a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And how we do that here at Unity, the whole congregation got together one day and came up with this mission statement of how we accomplish that vision. So please affirm with me out loud. We are a welcoming, vibrant, spiritual community that inspires hearts and transforms lives by expressing our divine essence. Yes. A few announcements. Next week, True Guy, Star Horse. Trust, floating like a butterfly. The unexpected becomes what is most transformational. Learning to float like a butterfly is to be able to adjust at any given moment and to have faith in navigating the chaos. Trust, an intuitive resonator, is vibrating the frequency of what is most aligned to what is most needed at this moment. True has spoken here before, and he's a wonderful musician and has a real depth of knowledge of living on this world and also connected to that divine, sacred part of himself. So I'm looking forward to hearing him speak next week, as I am for pretty much every speaker here, because they all seem to have that same qualities. Maybe they're not all musicians, but they all have a deep wisdom and a unique perspective, which enriches my life. Coffee chats in the park are continuing. I got a text from Shona the other day. Thank you, Shona, saying that there was 8 people there last week, and they thought, let's just keep going until the weather just gets too miserable to be out there. So they're going to keep going. So if you're every Monday at 1 o'clock at North Glenmore Park, there's going to be a coffee chat. Now they've got how you get there is you get south on Crowchild Trail, right over top of the overpass, over Glenmore, and just keep going straight south past Lakeview, and it drives you right into the park. But I was there yesterday, and that entrance is closed. So you're going to have to go to the 37th Street entrance and drive all the way along the front till you get to the last parking lot on the left. And there they'll be. Spiritual Cinema next Sunday at 2:30, a movie matinee. We've watched this movie before, The Celestine Prophecy. I loved the book, I loved the movie, and I think we thought it would be a good movie because it seems very relevant today. It's all about staying in that high vibration and how that is how we get through the chaos, get through our stresses and our difficulties, is by remaining in the light. We are a light in the world, right? And it is good. Book study. We're going to, with Cecil's help, he did some research and found this wonderful book, and you can see it up there, The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. And the whole basis of that book is that abundance is all about love. So I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have one session each month for 4 months. And coming up, our first session will be October 17th, and it'll be about 1 to 1.5 hours after the potluck on the October 17th. We'll just sit around and discuss. We're asked to read chapters 1 and 2. If you haven't got the book, please go online. We got it off of Amazon. Was it Amazon, Cecil? Oh, Cecil said he got his at Indigo or at Chapters. So if you're interested, do we have a sign-up sheet yet at the back, Cecil? Oh, thank you, Stefan. Yes, we do have a sign-up sheet at the back, so if you're interested in group study, which is really a group dialogue about our learnings from reading the book and what it means to us. And as everybody shares, we're all one piece of a great puzzle, and as each person shares their piece, we get a clearer picture. And the more people that can share, the clearer the picture becomes. I've been in part of these book studies before, and I find them very stimulating and a wonderful way to get to know the people in the community and to deepen my understanding of abundance. So please come on out. There is a suggested love offering of $10. October 3rd. We were going to have a grand reopening. We might have, we might not. We have a board meeting tonight because of the new COVID restrictions. It might not happen. So we will discuss that tonight, and we will inform you in the coming newsletter what has come about from that. So there's a good possibility that we're going to postpone it until later in the year when the restrictions are lifted. Is that going to happen? Yes! Yes, it is! If we can just stay in the light, right? There are powers far greater than us at work on the planet and in the universe. Let us trust that it's all going to work out for the best. And where to find us? There's the newsletter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The best way to know what's happening at Unity is through the newsletter. If you are not signed up for the newsletter, you can go online and at Unity of Calgary and do just that. And you'll get one email a week that gives you all the information of what's happening here at Unity. And now we have some more wonderful music from Vivian and the Unity Band.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a wonderful opportunity to sing at Brave Souls Day yesterday. And I learned this song for that day. And Anthony texted me last night and said, "Can you lead tomorrow?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I was like, "Okay, what songs will I do? What songs?" And so I was like, "Well, you learned that song, and you only sang it once so far, so why not do it again?" Because it is a really beautiful song, and it's called Brave. Living life to find a balance, and I will rise up to the challenge when I need to, 'cause everything I need is right inside me. And what is behind me doesn't define me. As my consciousness awakes, I'm forgiving my mistakes. I'm living my truth. It's what I choose. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Oh, you can move mountains, don't even hesitate. Do the things that make you most afraid. Oh, every scar is a lesson, and I'm learning to be brave. Oh, you're not wrong for living loud. You're standing strong, you don't back down. When they need you, trouble arising, you keep on smiling. Your comfort is shining brighter than lightning. And as my consciousness awakes, I'm forgiving my mistakes. I'm living my truth. It's what I choose. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Or you can move all mountains, don't even hesitate. Do the things that make you most afraid. Oh, every scar is a lesson, and I'm learning to be brave. You are unshakable, standing tall when things get in the way. Ready, and you will be okay. Feel the fear and do it anyway. You can move the mountains, don't even hesitate. Do the things that make you most afraid. Oh, every scar is a lesson, I'm learning to be brave. Every scar is a lesson, I'm learning to be brave. Oh, every scar is a lesson, and I'm learning to be brave. Thank you. Thank you. Kudos to the band. I love it. I can bring a song they never heard before, and bit of bam, bit of boom, they're on it.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. Powerful message. There's a lot of fear going on out there. I feel it all around me when I'm out there on the streets. And what are we going to do in that fear? We can feel the fear and we can still love. We can feel the fear and we can still dream. We can feel the fear and we can still take actions towards that which makes us feel good. So let's do that, shall we? Hey? Today's speaker is the co-founder of Best You Can Be, a messenger of the Shindal, the way of the heart. She is well known for her beautiful energy, joyful spirit, and loving heart. And that's certainly the way I know her. Her name is woman who means woman who dances with light. She's a well-loved teacher and intuitive spiritual healer who is bringing light into people's lives for more than 2 decades through engaging, interactive experiences. Her name is Tina Thrussell, and her talk is My Plan versus God's Plan. My Plan versus God's Plan. Let's please welcome Tina Thrussell. Woohoo! She's just getting her mic ready.
Test. Oop, we're there.
She's there.
Oops. My plan. Get up front and do the usual stuff. Thank Bob for the lovely introduction. Thank the SLT for inviting me to speak today. Thank all of you for taking the time to actually be here today. Thank you to those of you who are watching on Zoom or Facebook for being here. And then I was going to... God's plan. God's plan is we're going to jump right into heart coherence. How many of you have heard Bob's talk from last week? Yeah, pretty awesome, yes? He talked about heart coherence and how the heart is so powerful, far more powerful than our brain. It emits a much bigger energy field than our brain. And when we can align our heart and our brain, we can do so much more good in the world. So I'm going to invite everyone to jump into some heart coherence with me right now so that we're all on the same page starting this. So I invite you to uncross your legs, put both feet flat on the floor, let your hands rest comfortably in your lap. Perhaps your eyes will want to close so you have no visual distraction. Is that better? Sorry, I just was asked to remove my mask. There we go. All right. So just taking a moment, and I invite you to feel the length of your spine. Just feel as if the top of your head is reaching for the sky, and there's a little space created between each of those vertebrae in your back. And as you do that, it opens space in the front of your body as well. And draw your attention to your heart, that beautiful, beautiful organ that beats at the center of your chest and fills you with life and emanates that life into the world. I invite you to, in your mind's eye, look up and to the left where you could retrieve a beautiful memory, something that makes you feel wonderful, happy or joyous, maybe peaceful and serene. Just retrieve that memory and the strong feelings, a feeling so wonderful. And as you hold on to that feeling, I now invite you to breathe into your heart, as if your breath could go directly into your heart sensing the divine love light energy that is around us, that is all around us and flows through us. Breathe it directly into your heart and allow it to magnify that wonderful feeling created by that memory. Feel your heart and the capacity for your heart to emanate that love expanding with each breath, in and out. If you need to, you might even say, ah, on the exhale to just release any tension and stress you might be holding. What a beautiful sound. All that, ah, yeah, feels good. Go ahead. Breathe in that love light energy right into your heart. Just feel it. And allow that love light energy to flow through your entire body, to flow up into that beautiful brain and connect that love energy from your heart to that thinking part of you. And draw your attention back to your heart. And I'll invite you to imagine that you can see that love light energy, feel it, sense it, whatever it is for you. Become aware of it coming into your body and flowing out with every breath. And on your next breath, I'll invite you to come back to being present in this space, retaining that beautiful love light energy and that feeling that you created within yourself. Just when you're ready. No rush. We're here all morning. So beautiful. Thank you. My plan. Sit down and write out a talk to deliver today. You know, I do this all the time. I sit down at my computer and I kind of sit there and wait for inspiration. And then I just start to type, see what happens. Except that wasn't happening. And I thought, no worries. You know, it's a week before. I've got the whole week yet, right? No big deal. God's plan. I get a phone call Monday night. Grandma's gone. I said, what? Grandma's gone. I said, Amanda, what are you saying? No, she's gone. I thought Mom was kidding. Well, people don't joke about that sort of thing, Amanda. I know, but I couldn't believe it, so I phoned Dad. And he said, yeah, Grandma's gone. But how can that be? I just talked to her yesterday. She was in great health. I just talked to her like twice on Sunday. She was in great health. She was happy. Everything was going her way. She was positive. She was upbeat. And you know, she was an interesting person. She always was very opinionated and very strong and did things her way. Well, she did it her way this time too. She didn't show up for meals on Monday, so they went to check on her after dinner, and they found her sitting in her chair where she'd sat down for a nap and didn't wake up. And I found some consolation in that, for sure. And I chatted with Amanda a little bit more, and then I said, Amanda, I've got to go, because it really hit me. And I hung up the phone, and I cried so hard. I grieved so deeply. And I thought, wow, I can't do this forever. Oh, yeah, right. Yes, you can. You can feel this all the way through. It's one of the unity teachings, right? When you feel something, you feel it. You feel it all the way through, and it will pass. And I did that. I mean, short of wailing, boy, did I grieve Monday night. And it was really hard because at the time that I got the phone call, my beautiful, beloved husband was actually doing a live show down in the basement studio, and so I couldn't even tell him. I was there, left in my grieving. Beautiful, perfect. No distraction about telling anybody, no going into the story, just be with the emotion and feel it. And I woke up Tuesday morning and I felt amazing. I was filled with gratitude, so much gratitude for having had this beautiful woman in my life for like 36 years. I remember her saying, when my dad and her got married, "Now, you know, I have no intention of replacing your mom. You don't have to call me mom, but I'd really like to be your friend." And it took a while for that to happen. We butted heads a lot. I mean, I was in my 20s. How old would she have been? In her 50s. We both had our opinions about how the way the world should work. We had our preferences, and they didn't always match. But I watched her evolve and grow over the years, and you would think that she was a student of the Unity teachings, even though she'd never heard of Unity and didn't know what it was. But I saw her learn to live the principles of Unity. You know, she really believed that there's this God that's everywhere and that it's in us, and we'd better live by that, you know, just be who you want to see in the world. And the woman I knew when we first got married, I would never have described that way. But the woman who fell asleep in her chair and didn't wake up, I definitely describe her that way. And I just felt so blessed to have her in my life. And I've carried that feeling all week long. It's been amazing. Like, I can't even really grieve anymore. I feel like that's all been replaced with this amazing gratitude and appreciation. And I'm not naive. Maybe it'll pop up sometime. I mean, well, I had a little moment. I was making some borscht on one day this week out of beets from our garden, and I had this thought, oh, I gotta phone Mum, because I started calling her Mum, M-U-M. I gotta phone Mum and tell, oh, Mom, I'm making borscht. So, the week went by, and I didn't write a talk. My plan? I'll probably get up in the middle of the night on Saturday night, like I've been doing all week long, and then I'll be inspired to write my talk. Nope. God's plan. Sleep almost through the night, except to get up and go pee once, and wake up an hour or two later than you normally do, and be ready to come up here and share something. I have no idea what. Perfect. What was God's plan? Trust. Have faith. Know that if you're open and if you're in that heart coherence, in that place of love, whatever you need to say, whatever people need to hear will come forward. How beautiful. I had another one of those moments. It was early morning. I was in a bit of rush, didn't have a lot of time, but I decided, my plan was I was going to have a nice hot breakfast and be ready to go. No problem, right? God's plan. As I reach into the freezer to pull out the container of rolled oats, the little container of sea buckthorn berries falls out of the fridge and breaks. Oh, as I look at bright orange berries all over my kitchen floor, I hear Katie saying, now that was not in my highest good. For those of you who heard Katie's talk a few weeks ago, she talked about carefully setting her son's birthday cake that she had made just a few hours beforehand with great love and care. This beautiful guitar cake sitting on top of the cooler that when she went over this speed bump fell right off the cooler and onto the floor of the car, and her saying, well, that was not in my highest good. And as I looked at those bright orange berries all over my light-colored floor, thinking, wow, those could stain, that is not in my highest good, I had to laugh. God's plan? Just accept that what is. No need to get uptight about it. Just start picking up those little berries and wiping the floor and have some faith and trust that they're not going to stain. And they didn't. It was all fine and good. I even managed to get my porridge made and get out the door pretty much in time. Now, we had this conversation about what being on time is this morning. Yeah, my husband said 5 minutes early is on time, right? For me, on time is, it's 7 o'clock on the nose. I'm here for my 7 o'clock appointment. And honestly, his version of on time is at least 10 minutes early. But he's kind of over the years gone with 5 minutes to give me a little bit of leeway. Still doesn't quite happen. Hey. Dear, yep. So, what awed me about Katie's talk and her comment, because I would stop right there. Oh, it was God's plan to give me an experience of what is, and remain calm and have a little faith and trust. But when Katie had her experience, she took that deeper and she examined, what was behind her reaction. She had a really interesting reaction, and she talked about going into that thought about it being irresponsible and all of that. And I thought, wow, that's living the unity teachings in action. Like, just to dig deeper and really look at what's there. And I don't know, again, my plan, read that article in the newsletter that was beautifully provided with the link to unity.org. I wrote it down so I'd remember. The article was called Divine Order in the Midst of Chaos. Oh, perfect, an article about order, which is what I'm supposed to be talking about. Okay. Chaos is an order we do not yet understand, said the gentleman who wrote the article. That was on a sign in the home of a fellow. This was back in the 70s. He was in his 20s. He was hitchhiking. Some professor picked him up, gave him a ride, actually took him home to his place, served him lunch, and that sign was on the professor's wall. Chaos is an order we do not yet understand. Now, my plan, read that article ahead of time. Oops, read the article ahead of time. No. God's plan, read it this morning at 8 o'clock and skim it really quickly and get the gist of what it's about. But what I got to was the fact that he talked about how this quote speaks to the limitations of human knowledge and understanding. Yeah, we don't necessarily know and understand everything, especially how this is supposed to unfold and why. And it also speaks to the idea that even what seems arbitrary and chaotic could be part of a greater universal order and harmony. And I don't know if you've ever had any experiences where you think, this is not in my highest good, this can't be right. And you can't see it in the moment. You can't even see it a week from now, maybe not even a month from now, but maybe a few years later. There is some sense of, oh, maybe that's why it happened the way it did, because now look at where I'm at, and I wouldn't have been here if it weren't for what happened there. I could give you a million personal examples. You probably could spend some time thinking of your own. So, my plan? After John Burgess delivered his brilliant talk and talked so much about the 12 Powers of Man, written by Charles Fillmore, I decided it would be brilliant to read that book, especially the chapter on order, because that's what I'm speaking about. It'll give me great inspiration, right? So I think, yes, that's what I will do. So I asked John, he says, well, it's actually Katie's copy. I borrowed it from her and I'm returning it to her. And so I go to Katie and she says, well, actually, I'm loaning it to Paul because Paul's already spoken for it. And I'm thinking, but no, I have to read it. So I go to Paul and say, Paul, are you attached to reading this book right away? Or could I have it for a week and read that chapter and I'll bring it back to you next week? God's plan? Nope, not even going to be here that next week. Can't deliver the book back to Paul. No problem. So I've got the book for another week. I read the book, I bring it back last week and say to Paul, I actually really haven't finished reading this book. Is it okay if I hang on to it for another week? Yeah, not a problem. Take all the time you need. Oh, well, I'll only need this week. I don't know. As a kid, I used to love reading, and I made so much time to read, and I just feel like there's no time in my day. See, because there are these things that happen, like my father-in-law's in the hospital, and it's harvest time, and my stepmom passed away, and there's all these things that happen that get in the way of sitting down to read. So, God's plan. You need time to read this book, so I'm going to wake you up at 3:30 every morning this week so that you get a chance to read that book. And I know it's God's plan because I was not exhausted and tired, even though I was up at 3:30 or 4 every morning reading the book, which is very brilliant and which I still haven't finished because, as John warned us, it was written in 1930, and the languaging is a little bit challenging to work through, and it's not a speed read, let me tell you. It takes quite a bit of work to read through that book, but there's so much brilliant stuff in it. And one of the brilliant things that I encountered, I think just yesterday at 4 in the morning, was that talk about how you want to feel your emotions all the way through, and not do the spiritual bypassing. We've heard that phrase a lot from various speakers in the past. And I actually wondered, nobody's really explained what spiritual bypassing is exactly. So there it was, the opportunity to say, oh, but I know how to change my focus, and I know how to be positive, and I'll shift my focus, and I'll look at what's good, and that's spiritual bypassing, because the real thing to be dealt with that's causing that emotion still has to be dealt with. So we're no longer spiritual bypassing when we do the thing that Katie did and looked at what's behind that. Why did I have that thought? That was reckless of me. I mean, really, it was reckless to put the cake on the cooler instead of on the seat. Like, I wouldn't call that reckless, but it triggered something from before that needed to be dealt with, and she dealt with it. So there it is, spiritual teaching in practice, right there, written by Charles Fillmore, son of a gun. Hey, this is a pretty good book. It really does have some good stuff in it, I think. Huh. So last night I spoke to Reverend Pat Ball. And I said to her, how are you doing? She's here in Calgary, for those who don't know. She's getting ready to move her house. She's packing everything up, and she's bought a new place in Niagara on the lake, and she's packing up her stuff here in Calgary and moving there. And she said, so, sweetie, I see that you're speaking tomorrow. Are you all prepared? Well, as prepared as I can be in this moment. And she goes, well, may I offer you some tips, dear? So yeah, have some quotes that you like, that you think might be valuable. You know, keep the 5 principles in mind, and various tips that she offered. And I thought, oh, have some quotes. Okay, well, I got the quote from the article. That's good. Let's see, what else? How about our theme for the month? Understanding divine order. I can embrace paradox and navigate chaos while keeping my balance. And I'd have to say that actually that's been pretty true. I've really done a pretty good job of keeping my balance through all of this, through getting ready to come up here and stand and speak and not knowing what I'm going to say, more or less, blah, blah, blah. But the one thing I want to tell you is this. In Charles Fillmore's book, The 12 Powers of Man, the chapter on divine order isn't even called divine order. It's called spiritual law and order. And it's the longest chapter in the book. And the whole first 10 pages of the 20 pages is talking about how we should not give in to organizational rules, regulations, and religious dogma. I kid you not, the whole first half of the chapter is all about that. Here's the quote. No man-made law is strong enough or true enough or exact enough to be a permanent guide for anyone. Let Spirit be your guide, as it was my guide today. Thank you. Let us take a moment and just be quiet. And rather than the traditional meditation, I'm sorry, you're all ready to do a lead-in song. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just listen to these words that came to me as I was thinking one morning about what to talk about today. It's God's plan, not my plan, that helps me grow. It's God's plan, not my plan. I'll never know how the plans I make can go so astray. Yet in the end, it's all a better way. Even when it feels this can't be in my highest good, this offers me much more than I ever thought it could. It's God's plan, not my plan, that helps me grow. It's God's plan, not my plan. I'll never know how I'm so set in having my own way. Expect so much in each and every day, when it serves me so much better just to let it go, to relax and breathe and slip into the natural flow. It's God's plan, not my plan, that helps me grow. It's God's plan, not my plan. I'll never know how things I want to do and want to see may be altered or never come to be. Yet what shows up and takes over plans I have in place eventually will put a big smile upon my face. It's God's plan, not my plan, that helps me grow. It's God's plan, not my plan. I'll never know that there's a plan so much bigger than just me, more than I can imagine or see. And when I just let go and I live with trust and faith, I live a life of peace and ease and greater grace. It's God's plan, not my plan, that helps me grow. It's God's plan, not my plan. I'll follow.
And now, Vivian Martin and the Unity Band.
Bob. So serious. Vivian Martin, Unity Band. Well, it's interesting because as before I was saying, I was looking through my music and looking for songs. Usually they pop out at me when I'm picking songs for a Sunday morning. And this one definitely popped out. There we go. All right. Listening to spirit through a whisper in the dark, and it echoes on into the vast completeness of our heart. Oh, we awaken with a longing, calling all that we can be, living in this present moment of godly possibility. And so I let go and let God. Oh, we are born to shine. We are meant to be our brightest let go and let God, and live our life a mighty way. The sun will greet tomorrow and the night will follow day. You know spring comes after winter 'cause God planned it just that way. We don't have to know the reason or the wherefore or the why. Heaven's living deep inside and freedom's on the rise. When I let go and let God, we are born to shine, we are made to be our brightest. Let go and let God, and live our life a mighty way. Let go and let God, we are born to shine, we are made to be our brightest. Let go and let God, and live our life a mighty way. Bob Warren, yeah. Let go, let God, we are born to shine, we are made to be our brightest. Let go, let God, and everything will be okay. Come on and let go, we are born to shine, we are made to be our brightest. Let go, let God, and live our life a mighty way. Oh, live our life a mighty way. Yeah, live our life a mighty way.
All right. Thank you so much. What a perfect song for finishing up Tina's talk. Tina came to me last week after I had given my talk, and she says, "Oh, Bob, I don't know what I'm going to say now to beat that." And I think she did know. And isn't that amazing that it just, her life just led her and taught her and gave her everything she needed to say just by being present and allowing things to be as they are and giving up her plans and allowing God to guide her, which is really just our inner spirit, our own heart. If we could just allow our own heart to guide us, we'll be okay. I heard just recently someone, and he was talking, and he said, your purpose. I've always had trouble in my life finding my purpose. What's my purpose? Got to find my purpose. All the gurus now and inner growth and personal development are saying, oh, you got to find your purpose. Well, what's my purpose? I'm 63 years old. I don't know what my purpose is. And he said, all you have to do is what lights you up. What lights you up? What is it that you do that allows you to leap up in the morning and excited to do it? He says, well, in that moment, that's your purpose. In other words, doing what you love is your purpose. What an amazing talk. Thank you, Tina. Let's give her another round. And one more for the band. I feel so blessed to be part of this community. Now it's time for conscious giving. The sharing of our time and talent and treasures. This community is built by the people in it. This community is the people in it. Without all of you here now present, and all of you watching on Zoom, there would be no Unity Community. I'm so grateful to be part of this, and I'm happy to give each week if it means I can keep coming back here every week and share these being with beautiful people who care and are willing to give and to serve. And I see it every week, everyone helping set up, helping tear down afterwards. See them busy in the kitchen, washing the dishes and cleaning the coffee pots, and see Claude come in at 8 in the morning, getting ready, John, myself, Ross, Brenda, Ariana, so many. Everyone. Stefan, Cecil, Bob Warren coming in at 8 in the morning every week to set up the band. Yeah. And pretty much everyone in the community has contributed. So now we're going to sing our offering song, and I encourage you all to stand up, get loose, share your joy and love. That's part of that expression. And then Cecil will come up and bless our offerings.
I'm gonna give with an open heart. Yeah, I'm gonna give with an open heart. I am grateful for this moment. I am grateful for my life. And I trust that a higher power will always be there to provide. That's why I give with an open heart. And that's why I give with an open heart. Oh, I'm gonna give with an open heart. And that's why I give with an open heart. Give.
Been a good morning.
Yes, indeed.
Please join with me as we bless the offering. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And take this thought with you. The prosperity of God is now in focus. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecil. And thank you all. Please take your seats. We also have a blessing for the children. The children that are here, the children that are out in the world, and of course our very own inner child. So please affirm with me out loud, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. Now let's take a quiet moment to contemplate, to think of anyone you would like to offer in a prayer to today. Allow yourself to just let go and bring them to mind. And whatever you wish for them, just give it up to Spirit. Trust that Spirit will give them exactly what they need. And know that whatever happens, Spirit is there serving them and their highest good. And our plan, it may not look like it, our plan, but know that God's plan is probably a little bit better. So see them receiving the help they need, becoming the people they were meant to be, seeing them giving and serving just as we do, and see the gifts that come back to us in return as we honor them for who they are. You can also send your prayers to unityofcalgary.org or prayer@unityofcalgary.org. Your requests will be held in prayer for 30 days. And also you can rate your prayers, if you're here in person, on the prayer requests and enter them into the prayer box. And Alar will hold them in prayer and then send them off to Silent Unity to be held in prayer for 30 days. And if you really need a prayer, you can call 1-800-NOW-PRAY 24/7 to receive an affirmative prayer from one of the guides at prayer chaplains at Silent Unity. We also hold in prayer other Unity communities in Canada, and this month we hold Unity Hamilton and Unity Kitchener. Just know that we see them having the love and support they need to continue cultivating the consciousness and bringing the message of unity across our country. Now let us affirm out loud our prayer of protection. The light that is God surrounds me. I am the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am the love. The power that is God protects me. I am the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and so it is, and all is well, and so it is. Amen. Now let's stand for a little music as we close out our gathering today. And we're singing This Little Light of Mine.
Because when we all shine our own little light, the world lights up. Yeah. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world, all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm the light of God. I'm the light of God. I've got to shine. Yeah, yeah. I'm the light of God, and I get to shine. I'm the light of God, and I get to shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine. Thank you, everyone. God bless.
All right, that lifted me up. Let's all stand around in a great circle and we'll sing our closing song together.
You guys all sound great this morning, by the way.
All right.
Let's do it. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
All right, have a great week, everyone.
Whatever. Yep.